fire on the mountain. Run, 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 run. Well, I have just read Festus Keyamu's. I've just read Festus Keyamu's response to my critique of the APC manifesto of lies. I'm not surprised that all he could do was yell as usual without examining or practically addressing the content of my article. Unfortunately, he picked on a wrong customer, and this is coming from Dele Momodu. Let me take a few minutes to educate this young friend of mine who has since become a shadow of his old self since he was offered an appointment that makes him look so incompetent by President Muhammadu Buhari. And you guys don't forget that Dele Momodu, it was reported that he talked about the manifesto that Buhari or Tinubu presented, and he said a copy and paste because it was stolen from Abiola, that everything about what Abiola manifesto was, that is what a Tinubu brought out. And I think immediately Festus Keyamo responded, and himself is now responding to what Keyamo said. You know, there's this boost between them, and the way Keyamo has been behaving, even them in APC, they know that that is not the right thing, but just because anything they can do just for them to win, but they don't even know that they are just even demarketing. Keyamo is even demarketing Tinubu. They don't know. But these people that are greedy, they don't even look at things critically, but they just want to get to the end of the whole thing. Even at the end of the day, if everything collapses, they don't even care. At the end of the day, who is going to be affected? It's going to affect, like Tinubu, like they always say, he who is down will not even be afraid of falling again. But Keyamo, he has even ruined his own reputation because of what? Because of money. So let's hear what Dele Momodu is trying to say here. He said any self-respecting soul would have since resigned, but Festus Keyamo was not at home the day shame came visiting. The ministry in which is a mere figurehead is in total shambles, and only a Bola Tinubu would have given the job of a spokesperson to such a certified nuisance. You can imagine. Yes, is it not the Minister for Labour for State? What are they doing? He's not even doing anything concerning it. It's only Ngigi that we are hearing. So that's why they just gave him that position, because it's not even relevant. You see? That is the position they can give to such a certified nuisance. What did Festus say I did wrong? He quoted copiously from an article I wrote about 2 years ago, which the Tinubu media team have been using to campaign endlessly because they have no stronger voice of their own. I'm indeed flattered. There's no doubt that I love Tinubu the man, but I disagree vehemently with Tinubu the politician. This is not the first time I will say it publicly, since I now have the opportunity of presenting the bones of my disagreement with Tinubu. Courtesy of Festus Keyamo, I will lay them bare. Tinubu has declined in the last few years. Wow. I used to see him as a man of his people, but no supposed generalissimo would ever abandon his people in the days of trouble and tribulation. None of the people around him could tell him the truth for pecuniary reasons. He shows it himself, but he desperately wants to be president of Nigeria by fire by force after he has lost most of his formidable foot soldiers, and now relying on outsiders to activate and actualize his lifelong ambition for him, which is his legitimate right. But Nigerians have the right to scrutinize his action plans. When he was governor, I supported him from the distance while he surrounded himself with some people who pretended to love him when he was busy distributing land to journalists in Lagos. Wow, I refused to collect my papers because I love my freedom. The reason I was able to tell him truth regularly. When he was to be impeached for some infractions, and many of his so-called loyalists were washing off their hands clean, like the biblical Pontius Pilate, my very dear friend Tokunbo Afikunyomi stood by him like the rock of Gibraltar. But how did he repay Tokunbo, who took all the bullets? This shameless Festus Keyamo was one of those who wanted to run Tinubu out of town. You can imagine. Ah, Keyamo, your own don finish. You see, say now only you dey get grace. They say na craze, na they tell you dey cure craze. You see, now this one is beginning to open up all the things that they did in the past. Nduka, Obaigbena, and I had to step in at some point before he could consider Tokunbo for anything. Tokunbo had wanted to be the governor of Lagos State, and Tinubu goaded him on and allowed him to waste his resources. It was when I got Chief Harry Akonde to give Tokunbo the AMPP governorship ticket for Lagos State that Tinubu suddenly realized that he had offended his suicide bomber. During his battle to stop Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki from becoming the Senate president, we all saw how the younger politician outsmarted him. I had warned him to leave the gentleman alone because no one should play God, but he went ahead until the gentleman floored him effortlessly. During his egoistic battle against Governor Baba Tunde Raji Fashola, I wrote an article asking him not to try it because their marriage was consummated in heaven. Somehow he backtracked. In spite of him, Fashola continues to remain relevant in Nigerian politics. Again, when he continued his tradition of hire and fire and started plotting against Governor Akinwumi Ambode, I buried my love for Babajide Sanwo-Olu to speak up against the injustice of removing a great technocrat who was doing well in Lagos. The president of Nigeria, the vice president, the governors forum, and many distinguished Nigerians begged him to no avail. He must have his way always. The same personalities are now the people he needs and wants to make him president. Nigeria is looking for a president with compassion and competence, not an emperor. Tinubu is a man who loves to bait the masquerade with goats, but will never release the rope. That is why he kept losing his friends like Musiliu Obanikoro Ambode, Muiz Banire, Opeyemi Bamidele, Rauf Aregbesola, Faud Oki, Yemi Osinbajo, Adeniran, Ogunsanya, Babafemi Ojodu, Rahman Owokoniran, Kashim Ibrahim Imam, Aminu Tambuwa, Yakubu Dogara, Nasser El-Rufai, Babache Lawa, Rotimi Akeredolu, Kayode Fayemi, Aro Lambo, Adeseye Ogunlewe, Jimmy Agbaje, Ibikunle Amosu, Femi Pedro, Gbenga Dane, Kofo Akerele, Bugno, Remi Adiku Bakare, Tuji Abayomi, Tokunbo Ajasin, Mulikat Akonde, Chief Dapo Sarumi, Adeniran Ogunsanya, Amos Akingba, Bolaji Akinyemi, Mojisola Akinfenwa, John Oyegun, Godwin Obaseki, Yinka Odumaki, Papa Ayo Adebanjo, Papa Abraham Edesanya, Dupe Adelaja, Toyin Fagbayi, Papa Olanihun Ajayi, Babafemi Ojodu, Prince Dipo Eludoyin, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who seems to be aloof of Tinubu's campaign, and so many others, even if some of them have since reconciled due to political expediency. Tinubu personally decimated the pan-Yoruba group Afenifere after enjoying their massive support when he came back from exile in 1998. For me, his biggest sin is the fact that he went funerally quiet when APC became a totally hopeless case, just because he's hoping to inherit Buhari's structures. Lastly, I hope he would have the energy to make himself available for a rigorous scrutiny of his manifesto. He wants to renew what actually? He wants to turn Nigeria into another Lagos. Many of those who love him genuinely know that the demystification process has started. They wished he had not subjected himself to this agony and anguish, but they can only say so in hushed whispers. Nigerians deserve better. I have been actively involved in politics. I hope Keyamo does not delude himself that I cannot make my own choices. I certainly have, and done so openly, boldly. Atiku Abubakar is my choice. He is not a pretender to the throne. He has pursued his dreams with grace, good comportment, self-discipline, and uncommon equanimity. Festus and his gang keep quoting a 2019 article that I wrote. They should go and frame my other writing too. As for the political neophytes, neophytes called Keyamo, he still has a lot to learn while trying hard to be a lapdog. He should be reminded that he is still a minister of state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, paid at taxpayers' expense. He should learn to moderate his undue exuberance. I could go on an infinitum, but let us cool temper for now. Chief Dele Momodu. Hey, hey. This man, me, he mean am o. Hey, can you imagine? All of them just dey pretend. They know wetin dey sup. They know wetin dey sup. All of them just dey pretend. Forget it. Certified nuisance, what a rank. It's more than a certified nuisance, and it's not caution we bring. If it's not caution, it's going to bring his party to rubbles. Honestly, Dele is right. This guy does not regulate the use of his tongue in a cultured manner. Yes, because only Tinubu surrounded with bunch of nuisance and thuggery like Lagos State of MC Oluomo and Co. In 2015, you voted for a disaster. Now, everybody, including those who voted the disaster, are praying for May 29, 2023 to come quickly. Why are that? The same people who voted for disaster 101 are rooting for disaster pro max. How many times will something happen to a people before they come to a realization? Really nuisance. This is the biggest name on Festus Keyamo, aka certified nuisance. Kai Chief Dele Momodu has not answered the basis of his fight. He said that the renewed hope of is a copy of the MKO document of 93. He should give us details of his soul of this so we can read. Well, so guys, that is just it. Let's know what you think and have your take in the comment section. Thank you.